Into order after a very long recess for the purposes of engrossment and a committee meeting. The Rules and Ethics Committee and staff worked very hard to get these bills out for us. We are on reports of select committees. Are there any select committees to report? Congresswoman Pratt.
Good evening, Speaker and members of Congress. First, if I may, I would like to say thank you very much to our staff for their hard work in preparing in my Rules and Ethics Committee, as well as our Congress members for their support through this lengthy process this evening. Rules and Ethics Committee met and reporting Ncaa 1582. An act to provide an appropriation to the Land, Commerce, and Public Safety Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $11,318,472 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is Congressman Yeck, co-sponsor Congressman Hamilton. Final committee action do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1583, an act to provide an appropriation to the Health, Fitness, and Wellness Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $15,610,510 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is John Yeck, co-sponsor Otto Hamilton. Final committee action do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1586, an act to provide an appropriation to the Cultural Preservation, Arts, Heritage, and Language Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $3,016,267 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is John Yeck, co-sponsor Otto Hamilton. Final committee action do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1584, an act to provide an appropriation to the Government Operations Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $19,287,606 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsors John Yeck, co-sponsors Otto Hamilton and R.J. Walker. Final committee action do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 15106, an act to authorize and appropriate continuing appropriations for the operation of unfunded Osage Nation government entities at the appropriation rates authorized for fiscal year 2015 until fiscal year 2016 appropriations are approved by the Chief or approved by veto override to fund the Pawhuska Health Clinic in the amount of $6,454,212 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is R.J. Walker. The final committee action is do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1585, an act to provide an appropriation to the Education and Early Childhood Services Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $8,371,597 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is John Yeck, co-sponsors Otto Hamilton and Archie Mason. Final committee action is do pass as properly engrossed by 3 yes votes by Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1594, an act to amend and restate the Business Commission and Advisory Boards Act 15 ONC Section 5-101 et sec, creating a new board category for the Health Authority Board to amend 16 ONC Section 7-104 to remove the non-business board designation for the Health Authority Board and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is Ronald Shaw. Final committee action is do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Bill number Ncaa 1545, an act to authorize and appropriate $1,200,000 to the Treasury for payment on the Master Campus Plan loan and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is R.J. Walker. The final committee action is do pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. And Bill number Ncaa 1587, an act to provide an appropriation to the Child, Family, and Senior Community Services Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $3,000,000 $446,101, and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is John Yett, co-sponsor Otto Hamilton. Final committee action is due pass as properly engrossed with 3 yes votes from Pratt, Shaw, and Supernaw. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. We are now on third reading on our agenda, and the first bill that we have under third reading is Ncaa 1545, an act to authorize and appropriate $1,200,000 to the Treasury for payment on the Master Campus Plan loan and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Walker is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed, Congressman?
I'll reserve my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against the bill? Seeing none, the floor is yours.
I'll wait my time.
The question is, shall Ncaa 1545 pass?
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn,
Yes. There's an alternate effective date on this bill. Is there any discussion to that? All in favor of the alternate effective date passing, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, Ncaa 1545 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1578, an act to provide an appropriation to the Office of the Attorney General of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $944,616 and to establish an alternate effective date. How do you wish to, and the sponsor is Congressman Yett, how do you wish to proceed?
Wait my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against Ncaa 1578? Seeing none, the question is, shall the bill pass?
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn,
Yes. Ncaa 1578 passes. It has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion to that? All in favor of the alternate effective date passing, say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, it passes. Ncaa 1578 is referred to enrollment. The next bill we have on third reading is Ncaa 1579, an act to provide an appropriation to the Office of the Principal Chief of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $1,813,033 and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is Congressman Yett. How do you wish to proceed, Congressman?
I'll wait my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Congresswoman Bucklehead.
Thank you, Speaker, members of Congress. Recently, I received text messages from the executive branch regarding this specific budget, not urging my support, but rather demanding me to support the original budget submitted, or else I would be considered a political enemy. I made note of the fact that none of the men on Congress received such disturbing correspondence from the executive branch, just a few of the females. I voiced my concern and objections very early on that I firmly believe the salaries submitted last year for the positions within the Office of the Chief's budget were not only fair but extremely competitive, and that I could not in good conscience support raises for this budget. With that said, let me make myself very clear to all branches of the Osage Nation government and those listening. My vote is not for sale. I believe that the following positions, which are a matter of public record, ranging from $100,500 to $31,200, are fair wages for Pawhuska, Oklahoma, working for the Osage Nation. This is a government It is not a for-profit or private sector jobs we are discussing. The Government Ops Committee took the raises out of this budget, but I want everyone to remember that any member of Congress who may have disagreed with taking these raises out had the opportunity on General Order Day 2 to make amendments and place them back in, and no one did. I'll be supporting this piece of legislation, this budget, the way it is written. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this bill? Congresswoman Pratt.
Thank you, Speaker. I would also like to add to that, a lot of work went into these bills, and I just want that to be made known. And I want to say that I made decisions according to what I felt was best and what I thought was fair. And I just wanted to read quickly, because I too have received messages, and I would like for the Osage constituency to understand that I am my own person, and there are days that I'm going to agree with many of my colleagues, and then there are days that I'm going to completely disagree with every one of them, and I stand alone in making my decision. And back on May 30th, 2014, during the campaign process, I posted on my Facebook under Angela Marie Pratt on that day, when the early voting began, and I made a statement, and I won't read all of it, but I will say, as I have said throughout the campaign process, I cannot promise you all that you want and all that we need, but I can promise you that I will work hard. I promise to listen to you. I promise to communicate with you. I promise to give my best to find solutions. I am ready to serve you. And I feel that I have been serving you to the best of my ability, to all Osage constituents. And I just want that to be known, that I stand alone when I make my decision, and that I'm very passionate about this job. I feel that I work hard. I come to work every day, and I always have this job on my mind. So I just would like to state that there have been some very hard decisions and difficult discussions and decisions that needed to be made, but I was my own person when I did it. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this bill? Congresswoman Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, Member of Congress. This bill represents a promise made over a year ago in an open meeting by the Assistant Principal Chief and the Chief of Staff of the Osage Nation. At that meeting, which was held before every member of Congress, the Osage people, Osage employees, and others, that promise was that if this Congress adopted the request for executive staff salaries, which were liberal and higher than any staff salaries that had ever been paid in the history of the Osage Nation, that if this Congress would allow that, it would be the last time for 4 years that this Congress would ever be asked to do that. It was very clear. It was made in a public meeting. It was recorded. The recording is on the Osage Nation website, and I've listened to that recording several times, because it was a promise and it seemed very sincere, and I trusted it. I'm holding the Osage Nation Office of the Principal Chief to the promise that they made on behalf, as stated, by every single member of that executive staff. I do not believe that it's proper to say now that somebody changed their mind and the buck stops at the principal chief. The principal chief had the opportunity to be here. The principal chief was not here that day. He sent the assistant principal chief and the chief of staff as the representatives of his office. I'm holding the entire office of the principal chiefs to the representations made by their representatives that day. Therefore, I will be voting in favor of this bill. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against the bill?
Our budgeting period starts July 15th when the executive branch brings the budgets over here to Congress. And this year, staff and myself worked very hard going through the budgets. We now have a budget analyst on staff, and that's exactly what we did. I utilized his skill. We analyzed budgets. This was one of the first bills, the first budgets that we looked through that I knew would be set into a standalone legislation for the office of the principal chief. And the trend was set by this bill that we could see throughout the nation this year of increase in salaries. I engaged with the budget analysts. We worked hard to pull the budgets apart and do what we're supposed to do. The job of Congress to analyze and look at how our spending is going to move forward this year compared to last year, compared to the revenue that we have. I believe this Congress has done an awesome job paying attention to the budgets this year. It's been a short session crammed into a condensed amount of time. Our session started usually the way the dates fall a week later than we usually do. So we've had to get a lot of work done in around day 19 now, in 19 days, and I think we've done an awesome job. I just want to say that I support the amendments that we've made to this bill, the holding the salaries at the level that was promised that they would hold them to. I'm not going to get up and speak again on these division bills, but we have looked at salaries across the board, and we are trying to hold them at a reasonable level. Thank you. I hope you support this bill.
The question is, shall Ncaa 1579 pass?
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. There's an alternate effective date on this bill. Is there any discussion? The question is, shall it pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1579 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1581, an act to provide an appropriation to the judicial branch of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $391,605 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck, how do you wish to proceed? You are the sponsor.
Waive my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall the bill pass?
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. It has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? The question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1581 is referred to enrollment. The next bill we have on third reading is Ncaa 1582. An act to provide an appropriation to the Land, Commerce, and Public Safety Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $11,318,472 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck, you're the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed?
Waive my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall Ncaa 1582 pass?
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. It also has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? The alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1582 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1583. An act to provide an appropriation to the Health, Fitness, and Wellness Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $15,610,510 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck, how do you wish to proceed?
Waive my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall the bill pass?
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. It has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? The alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1583 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1584, an act to provide an appropriation to the Government Operations Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $19,287,606 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed?
Waive my time.
Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall the bill pass?
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. It has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? The alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1584 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1585. An act to provide an appropriation to the Education and Early Childhood Service Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $8,371,597 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed?
Waive my time.
Are there any other members? Congresswoman Buffalohead wishes to speak about this bill.
When we received the first education budget that requested $1.3 million to serve 37 kids, only 30 of which were Osage, I was floored. When we received the revised plan, cutting out $650,000, axing Hominy and Fairfax, leaving only the Pawhuska facility to operate that serves around 25 kids, only 15 to 18 are Osage. Those numbers are a little sketchy because we've gotten several different reports, but we know that all 25 kids are not Osage. For the tune of $380,000, I was concerned with the message that that sends to the Osage people. This is not about if we have the money. This is not about This is not about if we have the money. This is really about being fiscally responsible with the Osage people's money. It's about trying to serve as many kids as we can with our education dollars. It's about understanding and agreeing that the Osage County boundaries do not circle the Pawhuska city limits. $1.3 million or $380,000 could serve a whole lot more than 30 kids if the nation wanted it to. I believe that this branch of government wants it to. And that's why the Education Committee cut out that money. Because we said this money needs to serve more people than 30 kids. Keeping in mind that if there was any member of Congress who truly felt that this money didn't need to be cut out, they had the opportunity on General Order Day 2 to put it back in. No one did that. I'll be supporting this piece of legislation. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Congressman Hamilton.
I serve on the Education Committee, and I voted no because I didn't like the sound of cutting $1.3 million out of education. My thoughts were, when is that ever a good idea? It was still voted out, and we're voting on it now. And I was ready to make an amendment yesterday on General Order Day 2, and after making a few calls, I was told that something will be resubmitted and revisited at a later date. So with that being said, I will vote yes on this legislation and hope to see something else in the future.
Thank you, Congressman. Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall Ncaa 1585 pass?
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn,
Yes. Excuse me. Ncaa 1585 passes. It has an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion to that? Seeing none, the question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1585 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1586, an act to provide an appropriation to the Cultural Preservation, Arts, Heritage and Language Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $3,016,269 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed, Congressman?
I'll wait my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall the bill pass?
excuse me, Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn,
Yes. Ncaa 1586 passes. There's an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion to the alternate effective date? Seeing none, the question is, shall it pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. Bill number Ncaa 1586 is referred to enrollment. The next bill under third reading is Ncaa 1587, an act to provide an appropriation to the Child, Family, and Senior Community Services Division of the Osage Nation for fiscal year 2016 in the amount of $3,446,100 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Yeck is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed?
I'll waive my time.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against Congresswoman Edwards?
Thank you, Madam Speaker, and members from Congress, constituents. The Osage Nation Constitution at Article 7, which is legislative branch, Section 23 is entitled Annual Budget. It charges the Osage Nation Congress with enacting by law an annual expenditure of funds, which shall include an appropriation of operating funds to each branch of the government for each fiscal year. It specifically states that the annual budget shall not exceed projected revenue. On or about April 22nd, 2015 of this year, the Osage Nation Congress adopted the recommendation of the Osage Congressional Committee on Appropriations and set fiscal year 2016 projected revenue at $43,775,000. Because certain funds in the permanent fund are pledged as security for a loan, and that funding has spending limitations, and because the chief objects to spending from that fund unless absolutely necessary, the practical effect is that the nation needs to limit its spending in fiscal year 16 to $43,775,000. On July 13, 2015, I attended a special session called by Chief Standing Bear to consider appropriation amendments to every executive branch division and the executive branch boards of this nation for fiscal year 2015. The call required the Congress to consider new spending, increased spending, different spending initiatives in the Division of Education and Early Learning, the Division of Cultural Preservation, Arts, Heritage, and Language, the Division of Government Operations, the Division of Health, Fitness, and Wellness, the Division of Child, Family, and Senior Community Services, and the Division of Land, Commerce, and Public Safety, as well as the boards of the executive branch. In other words, the Congress was asked to consider revisions to every possible bill in the executive branch, save the Office of the Chiefs. These requests were made knowing the nation had FY15 revenue of over $15 million, which is over $6 million more than the projected revenue for this year. The Assistant Chief announced this week that according to his information, there is about $200,000 in unexpended funds left for FY15. That is the smallest amount of funding remaining in the Treasury in my 11 budgetary sessions as a Congress member. That, when coupled with the fact that the nation receives its dividend from the casinos monthly and has certain large obligations that it made to general assistance funds in July of this year, means the nation is in a potential cash flow situation throughout the next fiscal year. I believe these division bills voted on by my colleagues tonight represent the legislative branch's best effort to fulfill its constitutional duties. It ensures the annual budget does not exceed projected revenue while still maintaining direct services to the people and seeking to serve the greatest number of Osages possible in the most fiscally responsible manner. It leaves some funds in the Treasury. I am proud to say that this Congress, in my opinion, undertook its duty very seriously, made some very tough decisions, and has presented a budget timely to the nation to keep its operations functioning for the next fiscal year. I will be voting in support of this, and this is the rationale for my yes vote for all the bills. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, the question is, shall Ncaa 1587 pass?
Congressman Yeck,
Yes.
Congressman Baker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. There's an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, the question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? There is none. The alternate effective date passes. Ncaa 1587 is referred to enrollment. The next bill on third reading is Ncaa 1594, an act to amend and restate Business, Commission, and Advisory Boards Act, 15 ONC Section 5-101 et sec, creating a new board category for the Health Authority Board, to amend 16 ONC Section 7-104 to remove the non-business board designation for the Health Authority Board and to establish an alternate effective date. The sponsor is Congressman Shaw. How do you wish to proceed?
I'll close.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Congresswoman Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Speaker, members of Congress. This bill, this act has been in law for a long time. It was established back when every board, executive branch board, used to come over to the Congress and say, we need this, we want that, please give us the other. It got to the point where individual committees were doing things that were not uniform. So the attempt was made to give some uniformity to the board structure so that every board that performed a similar type of function would be classified as such. Over time, we realized that even though some of the enterprise boards are charged with the same kind of function, some are having more success than others. And so therefore, we changed it a little bit to allow those boards that were having more financial success to receive more compensation for their work. Today, this bill seeks to do that, I believe, for one authority. But at the same time, I believe we missed an opportunity to go back and examine how we set the structure and whether we indeed are going to continue to award funding for boards that aren't as successful as they should be. In my opinion, enterprise boards, their funding needs to be linked at some stage to the success of the board, because after all, that's a board that's managing an enterprise. And the purpose of the enterprise is to make money for the nation. So my thought was that we were going to go into committee and to create some categories of boards that took into consideration that fact. I thought that it made sense for us to start a board out perhaps at a little bit higher compensation, knowing that they were going to have more work to do in the beginning, and then to transition into seeing whether they were financially successful or not. Because we have boards that are making a high level of compensation that aren't making any money for their enterprise. We didn't do that. It's not in here. I think there's some unintended consequences perhaps of the committee not looking too hard, but I know this, a business board now is a board that has revenues in excess of $5 million. That may mean that there's only one business board now in the Osage Nation. Everything else is going to be called a non-business board. And to me, that doesn't make sense, because I believe that there are boards of enterprises that are businesses. They're just not making that level of money. So my vote will be no on this bill today. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, Congressman Shaw, the floor is yours.
Madam Speaker, members of Congress, I appreciate the opportunity to be able to speak with you regarding the Osage Nation Health Authority. Yes, my background is health and medicine, and yes, I've been on the Osage Nation Health Authority in the past, although it's been some years. But I'm very aware of the hard work performed by that health authority in accomplishing the compact and multi-year agreement and the transition that's led us to this coming Thursday, at which time the Osage Nation will be masters of our own health care and decision-making capacity for us to be able to plan and go forward and reach another level of quality and comprehensiveness in health care. The Osage Nation Health Authority has never approached me about creating this special designation or category or making any changes to their compensation or stipend. That was something I did solely on my own, as I acknowledged and observed the work they did as I went to many of their meetings and worked on the negotiation team as requested by Chief Standing Bear, as well as being able to assist with the transition in whatever way I could by providing advice. And I think this bill seeks to be able to set them in a separate category only because they don't fit well with any of the categories that were in the bill. They weren't really a business bill, but yet we're carrying out a constitutional mandate to provide for the health of Osage people. And I felt like that rather than try to pigeonhole them in a category that didn't fit them, that they deserve their own category at this time, a health board. And that's what this bill seeks to do. And I ask you for your vote to support this designation and change in their category for health board. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. The question is, shall ONCA 1594 pass?
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes?
Congressman Superdom,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Buffalohead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
No.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn,
Yes. ONCA 1594 passes. There's an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? Question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Is there any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. ONCA 1594 is referred to enrollment. Yes. The next bill on third reading is ONCA 15106, an act to authorize and appropriate continuing appropriations for the operation of unfunded Osage Nation government entities at the appropriation rates authorized for fiscal year 2015 until fiscal year 2016 appropriations are approved by the chief or approved by veto override. To fund the Pawhuska Health Clinic in the amount of $6,454,212 and to establish an alternate effective date. Congressman Walker is the sponsor of that bill. How do you wish to proceed?
Reserve my time to close.
Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, excuse me, I do see Congresswoman Edwards.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I'm going to use my time to pose a question to the sponsor that maybe he can answer in his talks. So basically, as I see it, we have passed appropriation legislation unanimously, and we have funded an annual budget for the nation, and we've done so unanimously, and we've done so with a sufficient amount of time to override any veto that may come. I would stand by my votes on that, and so I'm wondering, since we've done that, in your opinion, is this legislation necessary? Because given all the work that we've done on these bills for these 19 days, I believe, and given the vote, I would suggest that we should stand as a body and support our work and not get caught up into whether we might just continue under a continuing resolution and perhaps then come back and start all over. I don't want to do that. So if he could address whether this bill is even necessary in light of what we've done and in the time frame that we've done it in, I would appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this bill? Seeing none, Congressman Walker, the floor is yours.
We spent a lot of time in the last close to a month discussing, debating, meeting again, tabling, and it's been a long month, and we have openly heard that the bills, the division bills, and a lot of the operating budgets are going to be vetoed. And we were hearing that at least a week ago, if not more than that. I don't recall the date that I filed this bill, but having been a former employee that witnessed a similar situation, I don't recall the date. It was under the Gray administration, then with the first Congress. We ended up operating under a continuing resolution for at least 2 months. I think it went into December. I remember being an employee and I was worried about being sent home and not being paid. And my fellow co-workers felt the same way. And the majority of employees don't follow that closely to what we do on a daily basis, and don't get involved with politics. And I was concerned that the politics of all of this could affect negatively our employee base. I felt compelled to file this legislation. And this is a safety net, if you will. It provides security for the employees that if these bills weren't passed or they weren't overridden by veto override, that there would be an appropriation to fund their jobs and to fund the services that they provide to our constituency. So that's why I did that. As far as standing together, or is, in my opinion, is it necessary? I agree right now as I stand here this evening that we need to stand together. But I also feel like the veto process, it's not necessarily a political thing all the time. It gives the executive branch the ability to form a good argument, show weaknesses in our reasoning, and put that in their veto message. There have been times that I voted for something, read a good, well-written, well-thought-out veto message, and voted not to override the veto. So I'm not sure if this is necessary or not. I believe it is, because there could be some very good reasons to not override a veto, that the executive branch is going to have 3 or 4 days to come up with those reasons. So I would urge the Congress to do this for our employees, to ensure that their jobs are going to be there for them on, what is that, Thursday morning, October the 1st. And at least for the next month, this would extend to November 15th. So then it would give everybody an opportunity, including particularly the executive branch, to regroup and call us back into session, and let's figure out something that's going to work. So I believe it is necessary, and I urge you to vote yes. Thank you.
Thank you, Congressman. Question is, shall ONCA 15106 pass?
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes. She said yes. Yes, sorry.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. The bill passes. There's an alternate effective date. Is there any discussion? The question is, shall the discussion with the alternate effective date? Congresswoman Edwards.
So it's effective as a signature, but it would expire on November 15th. Do I understand that correctly?
I believe that's what's stated in the bill, yes.
All right, thank you.
The question is, shall the alternate effective date pass? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
Any opposed? Seeing none, the alternate effective date passes. ONCA 15106 is referred to enrollment. We are now on resolutions on third reading. First resolution is ONCR 1520. A resolution to authorize and approve execution of a contract for treatment services or other integrated services, fixed rate, FY16, with the State of Oklahoma Department of Mental Health and Substance Abuse Services, and to authorize a limited waiver of sovereign immunity from suit and to consent to jurisdiction. Congresswoman Pratt is the sponsor. How do you wish to proceed?
I'm close.
Is there any other member that wishes to speak for or against this resolution? Seeing none, the floor is yours, Congresswoman.
I'll waive my time.
The question is, shall ONCR 1520 pass?
Excuse me, Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. ONCR 1520 passes. And it's referred to enrollment. There's one more resolution on third reading today. It's ONCR 1526. A resolution to express support for the language immersion program initiated by the Osage Nation and to acknowledge the importance of language immersion programs to the future of our culture. Congresswoman Bucklehead is the sponsor of that resolution. How do you wish to proceed? Are there any other members that wish to speak for or against this resolution? Seeing none, the floor is yours, Congresswoman.
I'll surrender my time.
The question is, shall ONCR 1526 pass?
Congressman Shaw,
Yes.
Congressman Supernaw,
Yes.
Congressman Walker,
Yes.
Congresswoman Bucklehead,
Yes.
Congresswoman Edwards,
Yes.
Congressman Hamilton,
Yes.
Congressman Yett,
Yes.
Congressman Maker,
Yes.
Congressman Norris,
Yes.
Congresswoman Pratt,
Yes.
Speaker Whitehorn.
Yes. ONCR passes and is referred to enrollment. We've reached the end of third reading. We are now in motions and notices. Are there any motions or notices? Congressman Yett.
Appropriations will meet in the morning at 8:30.
Thank you. I guess we don't have, or any other, they're not on the agenda for tomorrow yet, are they? So can any other committee chair recall what time is set for tomorrow to announce it?
I think.
We're going to pull a calendar
I'm pretty
up.
sure culture meets, but I cannot recall the time.
We're going to pull it up right now so we can announce it. Congressman Walker?
Governmental Operations Committee meets tomorrow from 1 to 3.
Okay, thank you. I want to put Congresswoman Pratt.
Okay, culture meets tomorrow immediately following session.
Thank you, Congresswoman. Do you think that's all that's on the calendar for tomorrow? Culture, governmental operations, appropriations. Okay, thank you. I want to put Congress on notice that we have lost a very beloved Osage elder in our Hominy district, and I believe her services are going to be Thursday morning, and I know that I've spoke to several members that would like to attend Irene Lazelle's funeral. And so I want discussion between the body to see when we want to meet on Thursday. So that's just a notice I wanted to put out there. Are there any more motions or notices? Seeing none, we are at adjournment.
Motion to adjourn till 10 a.m. tomorrow.
A motion and a second, any discussion? All in favor say yes.
Yes.
We're adjourned till 10 a.m. tomorrow morning.